Now we are.
Hello,
Right.
YouTube.
I got some trailers to play. Well, hello, YouTube. Welcome back to Season 2 of THS Lives, sponsored by Stream Team Releasing and in partnership with Real Splatter Productions. Right? Did I say that right? Real Splatter Productions?
It's actually Real
I think so.
Splatter Productions with a Q.
Reel with 2 E's, like a reel of film.
Okay. You want to come say hi to the guys real fast?
Come do it real quick.
Look at the camera. Don't look at the
Hi,
screen.
Helena.
Oh my god. That a butt of chud? Ah! That's the first butt of chud of season 2.
Uh-oh.
An early sighting.
I see that your teeth are growing in well.
Yeah.
You sure
She's
don't-
eating right now, too.
Yeah, wow, they're gonna get pointy soon.
Rawr. In true butt of chud fashion.
Mm-hmm.
It's always nice to catch a sighting of butt of chud in the wild. You never know when she's going to pop up.
Very true.
What's this trailer? Oh, it's she was
Stream Team Releasing.
Oh my fucking god! Why did it share there?
What?
We used to have a page for my wife when she was alive, Go Elizabeth, and I just shared our podcast on that page.
Ow.
No, the people don't care about our podcast on there.
So I have been playing those out there in the world of the Horror Syndicate, being the fan. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and yeah, there's a lot of cool witchcraft and satanic Easter eggs in that game. But more importantly, the online is so fucking fun. I'm not going to talk about Resident Evil 2. That's why I said Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's good. What's this trailer? I've never seen this before.
This is Circus of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
During the month of December, all the proceeds went to Billy Pond, the
Billy
director
Pond?
of the group.
Yeah. Cancer's a bitch. I really hope he fights it hard.
Yeah.
I feel like an idiot because I've had Red Dead Redemption for like over a month and I have not even like played it once.
It's all right. I haven't played any of them. I only played Undead Nightmare from the first one, which I loved. And by the first one, I mean the second one, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Second one's a lot of fun. It's in beta mode right now, so it's hard to make any money. But I won't bore you guys with that. Oh, Lex Quinn's joining us on Facebook.
Dun dun dun.
She better hurry up.
It's Quinn.
Is she probably on break before she gets off work?
Mike Lombardo, get back to work. That sucks. She gets a break an hour before she has to get home.
Skip the break and come home. Damn it, I won't play.
Either that or she's dropping a deuce.
That's very possible. You never know with her.
Well, retail's always crazy because like you can work like 8 hours straight and then like, oh, you need to take a break. So go take one now, even though it's like you have like 20 minutes left to work.
Yeah.
I'm betting on she's in the bathroom dropping a deuce.
Mm-hmm. What the hell movie is this? This looks like shit. Oh.
The barn.
Barn.
The barn.
I'm so sick of holiday themed movies.
What
God,
is that?
what?
The barn?
So next week we'll talk about Resident Evil 2.
Yes, we will. A lot of it. I'm really excited for the barn too.
I'm just hoping he's able to do everything he wants to do with it.
I think he got everything he needed, so he should be able to.
That's good.
We have 2 viewers on YouTube, so can somebody go to the YouTube page and watch the comments, if there are any?
All right. Our intro is playing. FBI warning. Our new intro for the rest of the season on Facebook. We'll try to get over on YouTube soon. But yeah. Window capture.
Oh, John Mason.
Why do you do this to me, Demi? Why? That promo, you see my face for like literally 1 second.
I love the cut that it turns into.
It does look really good, though.
Television.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is season 2 of THS Lives. And what you just saw is our sponsor, Scream Team, releasing, and we are in partner with Real Splatter Productions, the crafty filmmakers behind I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday and Cinnabon. So, anyway, this is season 2 of...
Sorry, there is some shit with Cinnabon coming that I'm not allowed to talk about.
My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Brian Enright or The Horror Jew, whatever you decide. They'll both come up. Up next, we have Jared Letourneau. Jared, good evening.
Good evening, everybody out there watching, and to my bros from different hoes among me. It's been a little while. Glad to be back. You guys can follow me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau or on Twitter at zombie_survivor. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Jared. Up next, here the director of I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday himself, Mike Lombardo. Mike, good evening.
Hi, Brian. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Really excited to be back. I missed you boys, even though I still talk to you guys daily, but, you know, the internet doesn't need to know that. I'm very excited. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Mike. And here we are, the president and Fuhrer of the Horror Syndicate, Razor. Ray, good evening.
Hey, everyone. Glad to be back. I want to thank Justin from Scream Team for, letting us put his stuff on here. Thanks.
All right. So over the break, we decided, that through trial and error, we wanted to come back hard with this season of the Horror Syndicate, THS.
Come back hard.
we came hard.
Starting early.
The hot topic of tonight is cannibal films. We're starting off the season with cannibal trash, cannibal movies, cannibal musicals, everything cannibal. And sometimes these cannibal movies, they were kind of produced as cannibal movies, but they ended up being zombie movies, which we'll get into. Especially Mike Lombardo's favorite director, Bruno. What's that?
Bruno Mattei.
Bruno Mattei, his favorite director of all time. So, those who are watching, please comment your favorite cannibal movies as we go along. And, if you have anything else you want to shout out, please comment in the comments section below. We are here till 10 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. And we got some video game playing to do. You know it. So, So let's talk about what we all want to talk about tonight, Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals.
Manja, boys, manja.
I'm kidding.
You're pulling out the big guns early.
That caught me off guard.
So that was a fun movie to watch.
I didn't even get through it. I got to where the at the beginning when the nurse gets her tit bitten off, and then when Emmanuel goes to take a picture of the person who did it, she like cups her vagina, and that. I was like, well, I don't know if I should.
That movie is just full of sex.
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen a couple of the Emmanuel movies. I don't remember which ones, and it all blurred together. It's pretty much just softcore porn that occasionally has some gore in it.
This is like a black Emmanuel like offshoot of, and has cannibals in it. So it's not the blonde Emmanuel we know, but it's the black.
Well, actually, this is the one I remember watching. So I must have watched the black Emmanuel movies. It doesn't matter.
So
She had sex under a bridge.
The Italian cannibal subgenre really only is about, I think it's like 13 or 14 movies, and that's it. Like, it really isn't that many.
I would say a baker's dozen's about right.
And it's funny because you'd think that there's a lot more, but that's just because they all have 9 titles, and they've been recut and re-released as different movies. Yep. Which I'm sure I'm not the only one here who has gotten fucked over by buying the same movie like 4 times in a row. It was something different.
No, I extensively researched, but it's funny you say that because there's some of these movies are titled Zombie 3. There's 5 different movies titled Zombie 3, and we're not talking about the Lucio Fulci movie, Zombie 3. We're talking about other movies called Zombie 3, like Zombie Holocaust is Zombie 3. Buried Alive. Those aren't technically cannibal movies, but I watched those too, so couldn't help myself. Nightmare City, I believe, was a Zombie 3 also.
Yeah, like I fucking hate that movie. So let's what's your favorite cannibal movie? Like I guess that's a good place to start, guys.
Eaten Alive was my favorite.
Eaten Alive was pretty good.
I did not see that. That just came out through
Seven. Yeah.
Now that's a 70s movie, correct? Or is that a new movie?
1981, I think.
Yeah, 88 or 81. Yeah.
Or no, it came out before Ferox, I believe.
It is the same guy that did Ferox, though, I believe. Umberto Lenzi did it.
Okay, I know I saw parts of it. I just could not fucking for the life of me tell me which one it was. I have to pick it up. My birthday is coming up, so Lex Quinn is getting a crash course in 70s Italian Blu-rays right now to supplement my Zombie and Don't Torture a Duckling Blu-ray she got me for Christmas.
I still need to get that. I need to see it. It's going to be on Shudder on the 28th.
I mean, I haven't watched it in years, but I remember it being a very mature movie from Fulci. It's about, it's very like Catholic scandal, like pedophilia and torture and stuff. Like it's pretty fucked up stuff, if I recall.
It's a very slow moving, not necessarily a giallo, but yeah, there are kids that end up getting killed, and yeah.
Is that not okay? I mean, I've seen that movie recently that came out recently where a kid kind of, bites it.
Are you talking about Chud?
No. Talk about a masterpiece that was released by Scream Team Releasing.
Oh, Dude Bro Massacre 3?
Oh, snap.
That movie's ridiculous.
It may be, but not as ridiculous as Cannibal Holocaust 2.
Which isn't a cannibal movie at all.
Yeah, I never heard of that before. Brian showed it to me before the show.
It's about a woman named Catherine Miles, who is she comes from a wealthy family, and her family, her father and mother, and I believe her sister, are on a boat cruise in like the southern part of America, where they get the family gets murdered by Native Americans, and Catherine gets kidnapped by the Native American, and they kind of raise her to be like one of their own. Now, there is no cannibalism in this movie. So I sat through about an hour of the movie before I realized that there was still probably like another 45 minutes left. And I zoomed past thanks to the wonderful world of technology, having a DVD where you could just skim through everything. There was no cannibalism. There was only people running around. It was kind of like Dances with Wolves.
I was going to say,
Cannibal Holocaust.
I saw this under the title Cannibal Holocaust 2, Dances with Wolves 3. It actually makes a lot of sense. Also, in Europe, it's known as Avatar 4.
Oh, yeah.
Not, so,
But this movie was crap. It wasn't as bad as this movie that was represented as a cannibal movie, just like many other movies that are represented as cannibal movies, which are not, ended up being a zombie movie with a lot of stock footage. Hell of the Living Dead.
I hate that movie beyond words. I can't even tell you how much I hate that movie.
It is crap. It's a very bad movie. But the part that killed me was when they go to the they somehow survive a zombie attack. There's a little boy, and the boy eats the family, but everyone else seems to be okay once they team up. There's a hostage situation somewhere in the movie, and then they all go to a tribe, and the tribe they use a lot of stock footage, and then they go to like the footage of what they directed, and it looks like they just got a bunch of people together to put on like these half-assed masks that you do not see in the stock footage, and then they all turn into zombies. And I don't know what the fuck I watched, Mike.
You watched a Bruno Mattei film. That's what you watched.
Yep. He was known for making shoddy remake or shoddy copies of other movies.
Oh my god! There's only one good thing about that movie, and it's the soundtrack from Dawn of the Dead that was stolen. Only thing that made that movie that's it. That is it.
So you're telling me you love it?
Yeah.
It was hard. It was hard to watch.
My favorite cannibal movie is Jared actually has it emblazoned across his breast currently. Holocausto Cannibal. I love Cannibal Holocaust with a fucking fiery passion. I've been defending that movie so much lately, and I just watched like 17 hours of interviews with all the cast and crew on the gorgeous Grindhouse Blu-ray, and it is just such a phenomenally great movie and so incredibly difficult to sit through.
It is
an ugly fucking movie.
There must be something wrong with me or something, because it was just okay. It didn't do anything for me.
Well, it's not a movie, so it's not a movie that I recommend to people. Like, it's not a fun movie. It's a very, very venomous satire of the media and stuff. I mean, it's the one that's like 70s Italian movie that actually has something to say, and that's what I really respect about it. It's very a good friend of mine, Dave Grant, actually wrote this beautiful 4-part essay about it, as looking at it through the lens of an anti-Mondo film. And I thought that was a really interesting take on it. But I mean, I just looked at it as just the way the media manipulates things and the ethics of documentary filmmaking in general. And being a filmmaker myself, a lot of the stuff, I've seen in person happen. I mean, obviously not in the context of like cannibalism and like actual atrocity, but I've seen things being edited to be misleading and truths being staged and all sorts of that kind of shit. That's always annoyed the fuck out of me. And it's really excellent to see that in a cannibal movie. And that soundtrack, man, oh my god, it's so beautiful. I love it.
It's chilling at times, but beautiful at times. And it's like sometimes the beautiful parts are during the most horrific parts of the movie, and you're like, this is not right.
Really? Because it seemed like every time something horrific was going to happen, it played that heavy bass tone that sounded like it was from another movie.
The synthy thing.
I guess there was a part at the end where the
my favorite part of that whole movie was the part where the guy who's down there trying to find the footage, he decides to become like one with the natives and gets naked, and one of the girls goes over, grabs his dick, and starts like trying to pull him by it. I thought that was pretty funny.
That guy is a porn star from the 70s.
Is he?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I think he really hates himself and the movie. When you watch his interviews, like, he does not hold back. Like, he is not happy about any of the shit that they filmed for that movie. And he said every day he would argue with Ruggero Deodato. He's like, we'd start every shoot day off with me screaming at him and back and forth while the crew watched.
I am glad you brought up the thematic aspects of that film, though, because it's also kind of a precursed anything found footage.
It's the first found footage movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a perfect faux documentary that, horror still tries to emulate to this day. Obviously not like a cannibal film, but just the found footage style. But there was another theme that I kind of noticed throughout. It's kind of like touching on the white oppressors coming into a native land.
Mhm.
Totally, like coming in and tearing everything up and fucking everything over and not respecting anything that they touch. And
Yeah, and the tribes were pretty cool with new people coming in. They were like showing them like their way of living and everything. And
Yeah,
then,
but they knew the rules though. Like they had
first.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ray. Go ahead.
No, that's all I was saying was like when the doctor comes to try to find the footage, he knew about the stuff. They had a guide who kind of knew the rules. He stripped his ass naked and kind of offered himself.
Yeah.
And it was different where these young filmmakers were fucking idiots. I mean, they were straight up just fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Horrible. I mean, they're sociopaths. Like they're just horrible raping people and doing like awful shit. And
the one thing about Cannibal Holocaust that really bothers me is the blonde guy. He survived because he was in City of the Living Dead in Cannibal Ferox. he works union hours, so
yeah. It's funny because he's the only person that they didn't interview. I guess he must have died.
That was his only movie. Those were his only 3 credits.
Yeah, well, I know
the guy
that played Alan Yates in the original or in Cannibal Holocaust. He was gone for like 2 decades. Nobody knew where he was, and then they tracked him down and they started interviewing him. He's like a wealth of knowledge about the movie. I thought that was really interesting.
Is that Robert?
Yeah, no, that's the guy that hates the movie. That's the guy who played the doctor.
Yeah, he is not a fan of the movie.
He starred in over 100 porn movies too, which is really funny. But the stuff that the reason that people really don't like the movie is the animal slaughter, which I understand is really hard to watch sometimes. Especially for me, it's the muskrat, not the turtle. The muskrat makes my stomach lurch because it screams, and they put a switchblade in its throat. That is really
The turtle's pretty traumatizing too. I think
the turtle's gross, but it's not.
Yeah, but the
head off, like it's dead instantly. It's not suffering.
But how do you think that the actual cannibals eat food? How do you think they do it? Don't you think that's how they do it?
Well, then they all eat the animals after they were killed.
Yeah, the animals were all So the reason they killed the pig is they were eating fish from the Amazon River. They were literally in the jungle for a month shooting this movie. Like they literally lived in the jungle, and they were sick of fish. And they're like, "Hey, let's kill a pig. Let's eat a pig. I'll cook the pig." So then they asked the guy who played Alan Yates. They said, "We want you to shoot the pig," and he's like, "I'm not fucking doing that." And they're like, we kill pigs all the time. He's like, I don't. So they had the guy that played the guide is the one who actually does all the animal slaughter. He's like, I'll do it. Shoots the pig, and then they ate the pig for dinner. The turtle, the natives ate the turtle, and I think they sold the shell, like the one tribe, like the village. That was like their income. Mm-hmm. So they did that. The muskrat was something they ate. The monkey is the one that everyone has a real problem with too. The monkey brains, that's a delicacy to the natives. So they were all excited because they do that every day anyway. They eat the monkeys and they cut the top of their heads off.
We've seen Indiana Jones. Come on.
Yeah. So also
monkey
all these animals and doing what they do is kind of like a delicacy for them. And it's shocking to the rest of the world because we're not used to hunting for our food. We have farms that take care of that. And if we go to a restaurant and we never think twice before we eat a burger, oh, this used to be a cow. I wonder how they prepared this beef, from the very moment they brought the cow to the slaughter. And then it's funny because you see a movie like Cannibal Holocaust where it says, here, this is in your face. This is the kind of shit that happens. And to everyone else that does it on a regular basis, there's really not a big deal. But for people like us who are pampered with just going to the grocery store or going to any type of store, like even like you go to a clothing store and you buy like crocodile like boots or anything like that, or snakeskin boots, you never really think of the kind of horrors that these animals go through. And only Alicia Silverstone knows, but or Silverstone, but it is what it is. But it's funny to see that people are so shocked when they see animal killings, but they won't think twice when they eat like a hot dog or burger.
Yeah, that's something that really bugs me out, and I think that's one thing Cannibal Holocaust really does. It's very confrontational movie, much like Necromantic and Necromantic 2. They have some animal slaughter in them as well, and I love George Butkerite said the reason he put in like the second one, he puts in the baby seal slaughter And he said, you know, everyone loved the first Necromantic, and then I asked them, why do you like this movie? And they say, oh, I just watched this in horror movies because it's all rubber and corn syrup. It's fun. He's like, well, this is real. Why are you watching this and enjoying it? What the fuck's wrong with you? Like, you shouldn't like this stuff. This is terrible. This is ugly, horrible things. You shouldn't be enjoying yourself watching this. So
You
it
should.
kind of points it back to the audience. And I think that's really interesting.
But that music is so happy in Necromantic.
Yeah, well, also, same with Cannibal Holocaust. But I think the animal stuff is really important in the movie, though, because it helps paint a picture of how ugly this stuff is. You know, just for one, when you first see that, it's like, holy shit, nothing is off limits in this movie. And I mean, there's some pretty fucking gnarly stuff going on. But I just think that it helped just aids in the movie being as ugly as possible, because it's such a bleak, nihilistic movie. You need to see how horrible these people are, and you need to see what lengths we'll go to for entertainment. And that's part of it. It's like, you know, I know a lot of people that like that shit in the movies. They watch that crap because they want to be shocked. It's like Faces of Death. They're like, ooh, let's see how far we can take it with ourselves before we get sick. Well, that in of itself is kind of troubling, and I think that that's something that Cannibal Holocaust does. It's interesting. It's like, this is not something that's meant to be enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's important, you know, to you can watch it without the animal scenes. There's an option on the DVD and the Blu-ray for that, which I appreciate. But I think that it takes away from the movie to watch it without that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good to know. Is that on the Grindhouse edition? Did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I have right here. I have the DVD version of that. Comes with 2 discs. Both look like film reels.
Well, if you want the deluxe edition of that, I have my copy for sale for $15 because I have the Blu-ray now. Just put that up to anyone in Facebook land.
Hey, I was going to offer that.
Now let's talk about the real elephant in the room. Porno Holocaust. No, I watched Porno Holocaust, and have you guys ever seen this movie?
I've seen clips.
No.
All right, so it's Cannibal Holocaust, but with porn. That's all I gotta say. We can go back to Cannibal Holocaust.
Well, so Cannibal Holocaust, I think, is kind of that was the Ruggero Deodato did 3 movies. He did the last Cannibal,
Last Cannibal World.
Last Cannibal World, which was retitled Jungle Holocaust.
Uh-huh.
Then I believe there's another movie he made called Jungle Holocaust, which is something else. Like, I don't know what the retitle of that was. Then there was Cannibal
Tommy
Holocaust.
3, I think.
Yeah, probably Tommy 3.
The last Cannibal World is Jungle Holocaust, and that's his movie. He actually did that before Cannibal Holocaust.
First of them.
And that was Cannibal Holocaust was the second one. Then I guess he did one.
That was 76 or
85.
something like that.
Yeah.
What was 85?
It was like 77, 78 for the Jungle one.
Yeah.
And then
like
in 1985 was the third one, and it's called Cut and Run. But I've never seen that one. And supposedly that's his Cannibal trilogy.
That's right. Cut and Run. That's right. Yeah, I didn't see that one before. That has Michael Berryman in it, though.
Ooh.
That was like a very it looks like a much more polished studio kind of movie. It's like an action movie.
Yeah.
But then you've got so the Cannibal cycle in Italian stuff, in Italian cinema, the Cannibal Holocaust was the big one, and then everyone copied it. And then you've got the knockoff Cannibal Ferox, Make Them Die Slowly from Roberto Lenzi, which I think is a really fun movie. It's not my favorite. It's kind of shitty, but I think that it's kind of like Cannibal Holocaust minus the bite.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended. But there's some really fun stuff in there. It's kind of the same plot, you know, a bunch of white people come into the jungle, fuck with the natives, and then get their comeuppance. And by that I mean they get their dicks cut.
Ferox is I think it's way different. I mean, people go out there on vacation and they meet a drug dealer, because the beginning of the movie, there's a guy who's looking for a guy who stole somebody's horse, or the money for the horse. Mike, that's his name, Mike.
Yeah.
And then they go, you know, he ends up running to them in the jungle after he I like the flashbacks that shows of what he actually did, and they chopped his penis off and they put his head in a table and ate his brain. It was more fun because it had outrageous characters that were, you know, that was probably the reason I liked it more than
the same guy from City of the Living Dead. Ray, did you catch that?
Yeah, he's in there. He's the guy that shoots the guy in the beginning.
Gets the drill in the head.
It's the jaywalk.
Oh yeah, no, the blonde guy's in that one too, though.
Yeah,
That's him. The guy that's Bob.
the Bob that gets the drill in his head is the guy that gets his head cut off.
Got a drill in a head and a penis cut off. All the same year.
Music by Goblin.
That guy's heads are not lucky, man.
No, the music in Cannibal Ferox is really good too. I like that one because it was more of a movie, not like a. It didn't seem like they were trying to shock as much as the other movie was. But I think one of the things about Cannibal Holocaust that really got people is they thought it was real.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it was banned in 50+ countries, and
the director went to jail too.
Yeah, he went to jail for like 6 months.
Yeah, they thought that he actually murdered his cast and crew because what he did was really smart because his marketing ploy was he had all the actors sign a contract where they wouldn't do another film for a year. So they kind of dropped off after that movie and everyone thought it was real, which is pretty much what the Blair Witch Project did. And then the Blair Witch Project claimed that they never saw Cannibal Holocaust. It's like, okay, one of the most notorious horror movies of all time. Never heard of it.
I never heard of it. I never heard of it until probably a couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah, honestly. I mean, that stuff never appealed to me and still really doesn't, but.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, we all got a message at the same time.
Cannibal Ferox. I mean, Cannibal Ferox has one of the all-time great posters, like of great exploitation posters of the woman with her chest heaving, and then the native with the machete that's angled slightly up, like at crotch level. Like it's so sleazy. I love that poster. The soundtrack is fucking phenomenal. I have the soundtrack. Yeah. I listen to it when I'm sculpting and painting a lot, actually.
Did that come? Did you get it with the Blu-ray, or did you get the Blu-ray?
No, I'm hoping to get the Blu-ray. Hint, Lex Quinn, for my birthday.
Yeah, this one right here, Lex Quinn.
Yeah, that so they have it without the soundtrack and with the soundtrack. Mm-hmm. I have the soundtrack already. I got it imported from Italy like a decade ago. The same with Zombie.
Brought it from Italy. Listen to him.
Well, it's the only way you can get it back then. I got the Beyond soundtrack and Cannibal Ferox and Zombie, and then it's a bitch because these 3-disc Blu-rays all cost more because they have the soundtracks. I'm like, I already have them.
Yeah.
But it's whatever. They're cool.
Yeah, I really like the soundtrack to that, and Eaten Alive as well. Very cool song. I don't know why I like that one so much.
Janet Arkin. That's why.
Well, no,
have you guys ever seen
what?
Have you guys ever? I don't know if you're familiar with this or not. It's a book from the late '90s. It's like it's a history of cannibal cinema and stuff. Really good. They did a documentary of it.
They did a documentary, yeah.
That's how I found these cannibal movies when I was a kid.
I was gonna say if you have the Cannibal Ferox Grindhouse, that doc is on there.
It is okay. Because they talked about the doc on the Eaten Alive disc when they did the Mimi Lay or whatever her name is.
Cannibal Goddess. The Cannibal Goddess documentary.
No, I liked Eaten Alive quite a bit. And it's not because I think it's because of the religious cult and the parallels to Jonestown.
Yes.
I thought that was really, really cool.
It definitely gave you a different idea to follow because she's looking for her sister and that
every woman was topless.
There are a lot of
somebody mentioned on my Facebook that all those 3 were the same movie. I'm like, they're not at all the same movie.
No,
I don't think I don't think each one is the same at all. I mean, sure, they have people eating people at some point.
Is Eaten Alive really gory?
Yeah, well, they're not that bad to me anyway. I never got grossed out, or I think even when they killed the muskrat and the turtle, I was like, okay, I can see why people don't like this, but it's not doing anything for me. Cannibal Holocaust to me was maybe it's just overhyped, and that's why I didn't care.
If you go into that movie expecting it to be like the most notorious movie ever, I mean, that goes without saying for anything. I think if you approach it on its own terms and look at it in the historical context, it's a really important film in horror cinema. And I think that if you keep your expectations at a reasonable level, I think it's you can appreciate.
How can you when it is the most notorious? like horror movie or whatever. I mean, there's no way of not going into that movie expecting the worst thing ever because that's the reputation it has.
Yeah, well, I mean, I saw it when I was a kid. I went to Fangoria Weekend of Horrors, and I found a bootleg of it. And I had heard of it on like an AOL chat room, but I didn't know what it was, so I bought it because the cover was the girl on the pike. And I watched it on grainy VHS, and I was like,
I'm Mike, male, 13, from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, ASL. I was like 11. I wasn't even 13 yet. And the sweaty, like, fucking fat, nasty dude with a fucking an unlit stogie in his mouth just sold me all this fucking shit without question. I got all these, it's like Delamore, and fucking, Cannibal Holocaust and all this stuff. She did not even question it, and I'm like, cool. But I just saw it blind, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, like, this movie is fucking nasty. And, it wasn't until much later that I learned all about, the whole thing. But that was back when I was getting really into Italian, 70s Italian movies. So I guess I got to see it in kind of a vacuum, because that was like pre-internet horror community, I guess. Same with like Necromantic and stuff, I knew of it, but it wasn't.
Yeah, that's the one thing I kept thinking is like, this movie is nothing compared to fucking Necromantic. Yuck.
I think Cannibal Holocaust is way worse than Necromantic.
Yeah. Necromantic is gross.
Gross. Necromantic 2, the ending of Necromantic 2 actually made me physically ill.
Yep.
First saw it, I got sick to my stomach, and I was like, that never happens. But I fucking adore those movies. I have the really gorgeous Blu-ray box set they did, Sex, Murder, Death.
I got it too.
Sex, Murder, Art of all of his stuff. And I have the book too. It's so fucking wonderful. I love it.
Are weird.
It's like exploitation art house, man. It's great. It's good stuff.
So, I mean, do you think maybe, Ray, had you seen Cannibal Holocaust as a younger lad, you might have a different appreciation for it than, seeing it a couple days ago?
I probably would have hated it, honestly, if I think about it, because I didn't start getting into the Italian horror films until 3 or 4 years ago, and I watched City of the Living Dead in the early 2000s when I was like 23 maybe, and I absolutely hated it because it was so. Back then, it was a mishmash movie that kept flopping around to character and didn't make much sense, and
kind of slow moving and yeah.
Well, yeah, now I love it. It's wonderful. It's one of my favorite movies. But I think back then, if I would have saw Cannibal, first of all, I probably wouldn't have watched it with Cannibal in the title because that always bothered me, and I don't think I'd like it at all. I would have never watched it. I will say I probably will never own that movie, but I just didn't like it. I'll never watch it again. Not because it was too extreme or anything like that. Didn't grab me. I don't know. I think it had to do with the fact that it was told like a found footage movie, and I just didn't like it overall. The thing I like about Italian cinema, especially the gore, because I realize now there are like 3 levels of Italian cinema. There's then somewhat slasher, and then there's the Italian zombie movies with all the Fulci and Lindsay did some stuff, and then there's the cannibal movies. There's like 3, maybe there's more, but the cannibal ones are okay, but I like most Italian horror movies in all 3 subgenres. They really have outrageous fucking characters that say the most ridiculous shit, and that's one of the things I like about these movies. And
there's lots of TNA.
Yes.
Well, I don't care. Not in Fulci's movies. In Zombie, The Beyond and City of the Living Dead, they didn't have anything.
No, that's true.
But
New York Ripper and Zombie, and they make up.
Oh my God, New York Ripper is out of fucking control. That is the most sexual.
The New York Ripper is supposed to be it's like 70s Times Square, which was just a giant porno theater, pretty much. So that makes sense. But I think New York Ripper would make a great double feature with Maniac. Although movies is good, and it's certainly not. It's not New York Ripper. But
New York Ripper's really good, I think.
I couldn't stand it. I hated it. That fucking guys couldn't handle it. It was so dumb. I love the straight version of the eye though. That was cool.
Yeah.
The shutdown.
I also like Nightmare City where you guys did, and that movie was ridiculous.
I don't know how you can censor that movie. So fucking
because it's ridiculous. It's because it's ridiculous. I know that I'm watching it. I mean, when you see like a 10-minute fucking studio performance of people dancing around, you know it's not to be taken seriously. And then I mean, seriously, I mean, you got, and then when the plane lands and they build the tension, which you get in all Italian horror movies, they build this tension, and then all of a sudden these people with really bad makeup comes running out with weapons, and this is the most ridiculous shit ever.
They all have hatchets, and it's like, what the fuck? Where do these people get like hatchets and shit?
That's why, yeah. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, okay, this movie's gonna be dumb as fuck, and I'm just gonna write it out. And I enjoyed it because it was dumb as fuck, you know. And that's just the kind of like going into a movie. I kind of like, you can tell what kind of movie, especially Italian ones, it's gonna be throughout. And seeing that plane land and seeing this happen, I'm like, this is gonna be dumb. I mean, there's one scene in the movie where the main character, the lady, and then the phone rings. I'm like, oh, we'll get to it later. And all of a sudden, a soldier pops up. Your dad's been trying to get you on the phone. Like, where the fuck did you come from? You know, they're just ridiculous movies sometimes.
I think that my tolerance for like just cheesy B movie shit has waned over the years. When I was younger, I lived for that stuff, like Incredible Melting Man and like a lot of the Italian 70s stuff. But now it just frustrates me because I now that I know so much about like the behind the scenes of filmmaking, especially of that era, I know that these movies were just churned out in like a weekend.
Oh yeah,
make money, and like all these filmmakers were complete scumbags, and that really bothers me. It shouldn't, but it really bothers me.
It shouldn't. Yeah, you're right. But it's funny that you say that. I've been keeping a list of all the horror movies I've been watching this year because I've always liked to want to know when was the last time I watched that movie. You know, so I'm making a list and keeping the dates. And like the last few movies have been, you know, with Cannibal, Ferox, Holocaust. Those were 80, 81. Nightmare City was 80. Zombie Holocaust was 80. Burial Ground was 81. Beyond the Darkness was 79. Eaten Alive was 80. And Absurd was 81. So you got that sweet spot between 79 and 81 with all these fucking ridiculous zombie movies and cannibal movies. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, fucking the Fulci's movie, those four movies that are just so great to me.
We're all in
Living Dead, Zombie, The Beyond, and House by the Cemetery. I don't like so much. They were all made within 2 years of each other. That's four movies. You know,
it shows so much. Like those movies are. I mean, I love House. I hate House by the Cemetery. I'm sorry. I mean, The Beyond, Zombie, City of the Living Dead, even Don't Torture a Duckling. I love those movies. Like they're some of my favorite movies. But they are his stuff. All that 70s Italian stuff is the antithesis of my philosophy of filmmaking. Like, there's no nuance. There's no attempt at telling a story. There's no, like, it's just pure garbage.
It's just in your face.
And I mean, I used that so much more when I was younger, I guess. But I'm getting back because of you guys. Actually, I wanted to revisit a lot of this Italian stuff, and that's why, you know, for Christmas I was so excited to get like you know, Cannibal, Holocaust, and Zombie, and
Conquest, right? Conquest by Lucio Fulci.
Yeah. But I'm really curious. I want to, like, you know, I want
very underrated film, Brian.
I know, I love that movie.
No.
I want to revisit Demons. I mean, I got that signed by Claudio Simonetti, and I was like, shit, I got to rewatch this. I haven't seen.
I love that movie.
Demons is the best.
But yeah, I love it. And it's like I grew up with this stuff, and I loved Italian 70s stuff like big time. So I'm gonna. All these Blu-rays are great because I really want to get back.
It's great that they had their time, you know, and it was like in the late mid 70s to the late mid 80s. By the time Demons 2 came out, most of these films were dying down.
Yes.
And so, you know, I think because like there was one more Cannibal movie that was in I think 88 or 89. I can't remember which movie it is.
Cannibal Apocalypse with John Saxon.
Yeah, Cannibal Apocalypse.
That might be. I don't know. I didn't see it. I went through. Well, actually, when I watched Green Inferno, I know.
Let's talk about Green Inferno.
If it wasn't for Green Inferno, I would have never watched any of these. I'm just saying. So I watched Green Inferno at the very end of the credits because I let the credits roll. It said you could find all the movies this movie was inspired by, and it had every single one of them listed. So I wrote every single one of them down, which, you know, I could have Googled it, but I wrote every single one of them down because I wanted to check them out. If it wasn't for that movie, I would have never watched these.
Well, that's the only good thing about that movie is that they put that in the credits.
Come on,
no, that's not true. The guy, they're captured in a cage, and the guy starts masturbating. He's like,
yeah, well, between the jerk off jokes and the poop jokes and the pot jokes, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Like, come on, guys, I thought the pot joke was kind of funny.
No. See, the Green Inferno, I want to just jump in real quick. The Green Inferno, you're right, Ray. Like, I really never got into cannibal movies before, and then I knew that Eli Roth had like such a hard time getting Green Inferno to be distributed.
It took like
the movie was
years.
Yeah, the movie was sitting on the shelf for years, and they ran into some issue with their original distributor. And I don't know what happened, but finally it came out, and a lot of people weren't impressed with it. I think Eli Roth, like the reason why it failed, in my opinion, is because he was expecting it to make a sequel after it, because it ends with the one guy getting away, and they're like, you know, oh, we got to go find him, and maybe they're going to do something where he becomes like the leader of this tribe of the cannibals that ate all the students who went out. But it was interesting to see the Green Inferno make its way into a a community of modern horror fans who are used to slasher remakes and just anything that is popular now. And then you have the Green Inferno come in. I mean, it's I didn't really care for Green Inferno, but I appreciated the efforts that
genre to a newer audience.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. In my review, I say that as like if the Green Inferno did anything, it could open up other people to these older cannibal movies, the ones that are good. I mean, you guys like Holocaust, I didn't care for it, but if I didn't like Holocaust, Ferox or Eaten Alive, I wouldn't have watched any of these movies if it wasn't for seeing that. So that's my whole hope for that movie, is to bring other people to these other movies that were I mean, I know that the hardcore horror fans know, but like, there are a lot of people who may get into this stuff. Like some of our followers have been watching things now because of what we have put up. Like for the Blind Dead collection, for instance, we talked about it, and a few of our followers got on them. And I'm hoping that's what happens with this, is some of the people who haven't seen these movies will go out and check them out. And Shudder's got at least 3 cannibal movies on there to check out.
Yeah, our followers are insane. I told them not to buy Zombie 5 The Killing Birds, and then like 5 people went out and bought the last copies of Zombie 5 The Killing Birds.
Chuck did too. I think Chuck did too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Well, here's the thing about the Green Inferno. I agree with what you guys are saying. I think it's cool that they put that in the credits and that a new audience can possibly see it. I was really excited for the movie because I was a defender of Eli Roth back in the day. Like, I loved Cabin Fever. I loved the 2 Hostel movies.
Yeah.
Didn't care for anything else that he did, but I always appreciated that he was a horror geek first and foremost. And for someone to do a cannibal movie in like 2015, I was like, holy shit. And to call it the Green Inferno, which is a cannibal Holocaust.
A reference, straight up reference.
I was like, oh my God. And then they showed all these screenshots and stuff. And I'm like, this movie looks fucking incredible. And then I watched it in the theater, and I'm like, this is fucking Frat House Holocaust. And I was like, what the hell? I was so annoyed by all the shit in the movie, but I found out why the distributor, all that shit that they said, all the distributor didn't want to put the movie out because they ran out of money. All that stuff was bullshit, right? When the movie came out, I was talking to a lot of people that were on the film fest circuit, and they're like, hey, we saw this movie 3 years ago when it was made originally. This is not the same movie that they put out. They went back and reshot half of it because it was such a fucking mess. And you can tell with a fucking vengeance. When I saw it in the theater, I'm like, why does the camera quality keep changing? Why does none of this stuff seem cohesive? And it's because they reshot half the movie. And it looks awful. It looks like film students shot it. Like, it's so shoddy. The effects are so bad. There's so much about that movie to hate. But I will agree. They brought... who else is gonna make a fucking Italian cannibal movie in the 2000s? Like, that's cool.
Oh yeah, because he grew up a fan. Do you ever hear the story about him and Raiders of the Lost Ark?
No.
So when he was a kid in 1981, he went and saw Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and apparently the face melt scene at the very end of the movie, he got up and just threw up in the theater all over the place.
Nice.
Yeah, and then he goes out in search of these cannibal movies years later. But the fucking that was one of my favorite scenes growing up when I was a little kid of that movie.
I always fantasized about seeing it without the fire overlaid on it, so I could just see the actual like head explosion at the end.
Oh yeah. But back to what you were saying about Green Inferno, Mike, I do agree. It was very tame, and it didn't. I saw it in the theater myself. I saw it like the weekend it opened by myself because I couldn't get my wife to go watch it with me. And honestly, like you were saying, it's kind of a frat housey type thing. I can kind of agree with that, but in a way, it's also a movie that you could introduce yourself to the genre and kind of like pace yourself into it without jumping right and watching Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cannibal Holocaust is not a movie I recommend lightly, but I guess Green
Inferno has a nice chaser to it, where Cannibal Holocaust, you're just going in dry. Like there is nothing to weed you down to say, hey, everything's going to be all right, because nothing's all right.
Green Inferno, actually, Eli Roth accomplished exactly what he was set out to do. He wanted to make a 70s Italian cannibal movie, and he did. He made a really shitty movie that everyone expected to be great. And that, much like Grindhouse, the double feature where it's like you get tricked by the trailer and the poster and the thinking it's going to be good. I think that he actually pulled off exactly what he was supposed to. It was like, hey, this is nothing like what it was advertised like, and this is shit. But the biggest thing outside of the bad effects, the annoying characters, the horrible scripts, everything about it. What I hated the most was the first kill where they like full on dismembered that guy and like pulled his eyeballs out, all that shit. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then everything else after that just went in as tame as possible. And I'm like, you don't start up here and then the rest of the movie's down here. That doesn't work. You have to escalate. And I'm just like, okay. And then they started in with like the jerking off jokes and the poop jokes and stuff. And I'm like, boy, this is great. Then the stoner things. And I'm like, huh. Yeah. So I think there was a good movie in there somewhere. I think Eli Roth's heart was in the right place. But I think that in the end, it's more of a black eye to the cannibal subgenre than it is a help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, especially for someone like yourself. I mean, you read in about this. You watch these movies early on, and it's really night and day difference when you have a teenage couple going on a date. You're like, oh, a horror movie, let's go see it, and they know nothing about the genre. Everyone has the different opinions on it. My personal opinion about Green Inferno was I didn't really care for it because it was like Frat House Holocaust, which should be a movie. And it was just a movie that I didn't care for. And the cliffhanger at the end, like leading up to a sequel, I think that killed the movie for me because
it didn't make any sense. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, there's a satellite phone. Oh no, is this that arbitrary character that didn't factor into the plot at all?
Yeah.
It was like, okay.
If they would have just ended the movie where people were selling the t-shirts with his face.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed watching, like the spoiled rich college kids getting butchered. That was funny. Mm-hmm. Like the satire of that was entertaining, but it just did. I thought that's what the movie was going to be, and then it veered off into its own bullshit that it just didn't work. But it's got its audience, I guess.
So what would you guys say, since we're coming into the last 4 minutes of the episode, what would you say are your top 3 cannibal movies of all time? It doesn't necessarily have to be Italian cannibals. It could be anything. Or what movies would you recommend to the viewers who are watching?
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a cannibal movie.
Yeah, it's true.
So I mean that would top my list because that's way better than
list.
So what? Texas Chainsaw Massacre Next Generation, right?
I like that movie. I don't care.
I'm excited to rewatch that. I want to see the director's cut.
That movie's not very good, but it's fun and out of control, and it's whatever it is. I saw it back in the '90s. I was like, this isn't as bad as everybody says.
You got Matthew McConaughey.
That's weird.
It had a cast of no names, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But who the hell is Renee Zellweger? For the cannibal Amazon movies, I'll just go with Eaten Alive, Ferox, and What was that other one?
Would you like Dr. Butcher? Zombie Holocaust?
Zombie Holocaust, whatever. I don't care. That movie's. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's really stupid. I bought it on VHS at the video store closed out when I was a kid. I was so excited to finally see it. I'm like, this movie's crap. Really.
You didn't like Zombie Holocaust, Ray?
Zombie Holocaust? I loved it.
Did you?
I absolutely loved it. I liked Ian McCulloch was in it. He was awesome. But I don't like that they called it Dr. Butcher MD because that's a fucking huge spoiler. I mean, you don't meet the guy till midway through the movie, and there's a guy in the movie that kept calling Ian McCulloch Mr. Chandler, like from it reminded me of Friends. I love that movie. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I like the
holy shit, that's not a zombie. That's a zombie movie. I love that movie.
It kind of teeters on both genres, I think, but yeah, it's kind of more of a zombie movie.
Which one?
Zombie Holocaust.
Oh yeah, I wrote a review and I wrote that it's like a bridge between the two, between the zombie and the cannibal.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm cutting everybody off. I don't know if you noticed, Ray. Ian McCulloch actually said anthropophagus.
Yeah, I heard that and I got excited. I'm like, oh, that's a cannibal movie too. Auto cannibalism, right?
Yeah.
I always thought it was anthropophagus, but it's anthropophagus.
I said anthropophagus, so I don't know. That's on my list of things to watch in the next couple days too.
Yeah, that's Joe D'Amato. I haven't seen that movie since I was a teenager.
Joe D'Amato's so weird.
He likes boobs.
And he doesn't.
We didn't talk about Cannibal Ferox, the famous scene with the meat hooks through the boobs. That's the nastiest scene in that movie.
She's in New York Ripper.
I think I would recommend Cannibal Ferox as a cannibal movie. I wasn't a huge fan of Cannibal Holocaust. I get its message. I get everything that went in behind it and what the director was aiming for, but Cannibal Ferox was much more fun. You weren't like, oh shit, I feel like a terrible person watching this movie now. It was a stupid Italian fun. My second cannibal movie that I would recommend to everyone is the remake The Hills Have Eyes. That's a fun one.
Excellent.
And the third cannibal movie I would recommend is Cannibal the Musical, which is a trauma movie directed by the team that brought you South Park.
I honestly expected you to say Emmanuel.
Oh, dude, Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals was fucking garbage. Like, if there was no nudity or softcore sex scenes, that movie would be unwatchable. And even with that, the movie was pretty unwatchable. It's on Shudder if you want to watch it, but it's unwatchable.
Yeah, I think so. My top, definitely Cannibal Holocaust. I'd say Cannibal Holocaust, Cannibal Ferox, and Cannibal the Musical are definitely my favorites. I mean, I'm going to go mostly Italian, but for Cannibal the Musical, it's just such a fucking hilarious movie. Like, it doesn't really fit this conversation, really, but it's such a delightful movie. It's one of my favorites. And I think more people need to see it because if you're a fan of South Park, you can see so much of the humor that's to come in that movie.
Just the beginnings of their imagination of South Park.
It's such a wonderful, wonderful movie that I think deserves to be seen by a lot more people.
God damn it.
But Cannibal Holocaust is still top dog for me. And actually, I like it even more now that I watched all this behind-the-scenes stuff about it.
Well, I guess that leaves me last. So I'm going to say Cannibal Holocaust is also still my favorite. And then Ferox second. Eaten Alive is probably my third favorite. And I'm going to have a little italic for Cannibal the Musical because the skies are blue and all the leaves are green. He is as warm as a baked potato.
So I want to say thank you guys for joining us on our first episode of the season 2 of THS Lives. In the comment section, what would you guys like us to talk about? And, what Scream Team releasing movie are you looking forward to and buying? Those who want to, support indie horror, please check out ScreamTeamReleasing.com. We have movies on there like that B film, I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday, that not a lot of people talk about.
That's my favorite cannibal movie.
Cannibalism is mostly implied.
Yeah. It's actually a sequel to Mike Lombardo's favorite movie called The Monster Squad. So go check it out. My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me on Facebook at Brian Enright, or you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Horror Jew. Sorry, just trying to pop this up real quick. There you go. Right down there, you can see my name, and that's where you can follow me. But up next, we have Jared Letourneau. Jared, where can we follow you, man?
You guys can follow me on Facebook at Jared Letourneau or Twitter at zombie_survivor. And I think I'm on Instagram as at zombie survivor also. I'm not sure. I don't do much on Instagram. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Jared. Mike Lombardo, where can we find you?
You can find me at www.realsplatter.com. That's real with 2 E's. You can find me on facebook.com/realsplatter or my personal page, Mike Lombardo. But most importantly, right now, you can find me at screamteamreleasing.com, where you can pick up a copy of I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday on Blu-ray, DVD, or VHS. And there's a whole host of excellent movies. I know we keep beating that over everyone's head right now, but Justin Seaman is doing an awesome thing and releasing
now we have to
quality stuff. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on the label. I was a fan of the label before I signed, so definitely check it all out. Back to you, Brian.
All right, thank you. And our president, Ray Merrick, Razor. Final words from Razor.
Yeah, I just want to thank Justin one more time and remind people that She Was So Pretty 2-pack is on screamteamreleasing.com, along with Mike Lombardo's movie right there. But you hit pause that right there.
The Sleeper.
And anyway, yeah, The Sleeper's the best one of all of them. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Razor33. Twitter doesn't matter. Back to you, Brian.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I hope that this episode made everyone hungry tonight on this beautiful Friday night. And comment below what would you like to see us talk about in our next episodes in the future. Thanks for tuning in, and let's have a great season.
Yeah, back to Resident Evil.
All right.